Bo Lucy. I have to put, oh man, if I'd have known then what I done, oh wow.
If we had all known.
You're right, you're right.
Yeah.
He would've not only shut them down, he'd have shut them down and run them off.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you know this when you leave.
I will gladly.
We need just a few more feet, don't we?
Yeah.
This is nice.
We almost changed names with y'all.
Oh, really? Bless your heart.
Let's see, I need them glasses if I'm out.
How many do we have?
Let's see what's on here. I better put them on now.
Huh?
Ah.
I mean,
Is that now?
The last time I came, only to get, I had
So-
to.
Exactly what we got.
Exactly
It
what
was
we had.
advertised, when I was in Denver for the,
That's an insult.
ACL meeting, it was out for
It's
about
worse
2
than
days.
1980.
And then about a year ago, it was out for 4 months.
It was.
Yeah, well, I remember it
8
was
years.
out for a while.
8 years.
Several months.
Just
Like 3 or 4
Will it-
months, it was out. They had ordered a part, and then they had ordered another part, and then they had replaced the part. It was out for several months. So,
And EPS has.
I've been up since
It's
4 this morning.
I had to go,
I have a 4-year-old grandson that had his tonsils and had taken out. And he's so excited to be out here to play, and he called me up at the preschool door and I
So you
my
had to-
hand and yeah, my
When
knee,
he-
are
when I
you
had
ready
to
to
be
play
on
go
the
fish?
freaking
I said, yeah.
It's not the 4 flights, it's good until you get that 3.5. When you hit that platform just before the 4th floor, that's when everything's like, it's like, I'm done, I gotta stop and catch my breath. Your travel is in your folder if you want to.
I go to Gonzales.
Okay.
I have a
They just walked through it and say not claiming, so that they have a record that we did.
Where and
It's in your
New
folder,
York
it's in your folder,
I'm gonna put this over here.
and I'll collect y'all's travel and
New York
take
City.
it.
And I never put it into those. They have a
Just
family.
mark through it and say not claiming. Just anywhere on it, scratch through it.
Just wanted to let you know, I'll be, just wanted to let you know I'll be in New York. I said, well, I guess you're not gonna be there, are you? And she said,
I
no.
went through that a long time. I was-
That way we have a record that we didn't miss it, in other words, we don't wanna.
You didn't cheat me out of it.
Right, we didn't miss it, we just wanna make sure you get everything that you.
And, I wanted to go to see a Yankees ball,
Uh-huh.
and, I took off down there,
Okay.
and I saw this young
Mr.
man
Noah's supposed to be here,
that
Mr.
had a
Willie's
New
supposed
York
to be
Yankees
here.
hat.
That was not
I
coming.
said,
Rico will be here, he said, I will be there.
And he'll take me right to the ballpark.
Mhm.
They did, but I went
That
back
would be
in the
two.
worst place I could.
And if you want to park.
Look, it looked like criminals.
Yeah, tear it up and leave it.
Well, I was glad to get out of there when I.
We could just leave this whole package, we could just drop
We
it
were
in
there.
one, make it easy on guys.
Good. 8 or 9 years ago, one of the last
Like, this
games
quarter
played
early on the way.
in the old Yankee Stadium in
How,
May.
here, how are you?
Fine, how are you doing today? Just wish we could have some cool weather up northeast Louisiana. I'm trying to get everybody to send it to me.
Well, we don't have it
Please.
yet. I'm sorry.
No, we sure don't.
I went to Denver, what was it, 2 weeks ago? And it was like 40
So
at
here's the thing,
night.
I'm
The daytime high was like 79. The day I left it was 80, and I'm like, and I came back, and as soon as I landed, it's like 9 o'clock at night. I walk out, go to the parking garage, and it's like, oh, sucks a breath. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm home. Welcome home. It was so hot.
That's all right. We were in New Orleans about 4 weeks ago. Excuse me. And we went to the North Camp up there at the northernest most point of Europe. My husband's a history buff. Anyway, so the day we were up there, it was 30 degrees. It was misty rain, sleet, and
That's cold.
the wind was blowing 30 miles an hour.
That's cold.
Now, we have cows, and I'm used to getting out and feeding cows when it's cold I mean, we had on silks, we had on jeans, sweaters, heavy jackets, gloves, caps, hoods.
Everything,
And,
still cold.
and these people are like, hey, y'all are from Louisiana.
Hello, hello.
You know how to dress on
Morning.
Louisiana. I know how to dress, but it was just really hot. Oh, you had Hey there, how are you?
Have a form. Yeah, Mr. Willie should be here shortly.
They put us at the end of the table, Mr. Noah.
Well, we were wondering if the chief was coming today.
But it was wonderful up there. Then we ended up in London and it was like 86 and they were like, oh my gosh, this is so hot. And I'm thinking, you think hot, come to Louisiana.
The humidity's so bad.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Laura, how you doing?
Pretty good, you?
Good.
How you been?
Okay. I'm so happy you made it today. You can keep us straight.
Keep us straight.
Is Willie coming today?
Yeah.
How are you doing?
Good.
Fine,
Yeah, Willie sitting over there with all them ladies on her.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we did. Oh. I think the last time we were out about an hour. My wife was going back and get it. Well, she was in the shopping center. I thought she said, oh, no, you can't be ready.
You gotta be through, yeah.
And I had to wait a little while out front.
That's why I'm looking at my watch. I'm hoping this is short today so I can run do some errands before I go back to play and go fish and battle and crazy A.
And we went back to the shopping center.
Oh, and I know you had a fabulous time.
Oh. I get out, walk in and find me a chair to sit.
Sound like my husband.
That's supposed to be.
Oh, yeah.
Sound like that.
Oh, yeah.
Find me a comfortable place to sit down.
Mhm.
Grace, you're over there by yourself, aren't you, darling? We just.
Well, not quite.
Well, yeah. I'm so glad Noah showed up to sit with me.
I was thinking for a moment, oh, maybe everybody's coming today.
The annual report for him. I told him about it. Who didn't get one at the last meeting, the annual report?
I picked one up today.
You picked one up, did
I
anybody else?
picked one up.
Do I need to go get one for anyone else? Okay.
Gotta be
We have a few printed, but
Yeah.
not, we'll have to print for
We're gonna be trying this side this time.
We had to turn that in, we didn't have a quorum, we still had, I had to turn it in because I didn't want y'all to be late.
Yeah, with director's training on Thursday and Friday.
That's good. Don't get inspired.
Ah, yeah, they're all fine here. It's that big salary you got, that's what it is, isn't it?
You better get here, you made him a cake.
Well, he told me yesterday he would be here.
Who is that, Mr.
Willie,
Willie?
Mr. Willie, he called me yesterday.
How much more time you gonna give him? Another 5 minutes?
He might be looking for a parking place.
You hear from, Willie?
I don't know, it didn't look
No.
all so crowded.
No.
Oh,
Did you hear from Mr. Willie?
Willie called me last night.
He's coming?
Oh, he's coming.
He's looking for parking.
God.
I can't get over all the construction down here. I never come down here anymore.
Those apartments, those are nice,
Yeah.
but it's only gonna make it worse parking.
They're ready parking bad. Well, I don't know, they're supposed to have a parking garage underneath it, but it's still gonna be bad.
But they're supposed to have storage.
They should do well with young people, you know, and lots going on downtown now, lots of restaurants and parties and music and.
Yeah.
Just don't
What's going on with
like
you?
Nothing much, in and out of the hospital. I think I'm gonna make it.
Really? Oyster
I'm gonna
Festival.
be going down the other neck of the woods, in October.
Oh, Willie's here. Let's quit talking about him. Willie's
What are you
here.
gonna do?
Moving at Franklin.
I
Moving
told him you
wall.
called me last night, make sure he was being on
I told you
time.
to
I
call
don't
me yesterday.
think I remember seeing that in the paper. Mr.
It's
Wood.
best to go around the other
Let's go the
way.
other way.
Which was not scheduled.
You do that often.
Or you can just sit right there and not have to go and move your tag.
We can move your tag.
Oh.
That won't go when you sign it.
Make it back.
Oh.
Look, that sounds like wait. How did you do it? I had to squeeze my stomach in.
Oh, yes.
She get up, move.
Why don't you like this
Mr. Willie, look, Mr. Willie, Mr. Willie, Mr. Willie.
He's gonna squeeze in.
Move.
He turned the other way so you wouldn't see the face he had to make to get by there.
Next time I'll put him on this side.
I won't put him.
The table's moving.
Y'all wasn't waiting on me, y'all had time.
Yeah, but we were waiting on you.
Here I am.
You on the agenda and everything, so we'll get started now.
All right.
I'll go ahead and call the meeting to order, and we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance, and Willie will lead us in that.
We got one more.
One more, all right.
You can sit right there and move your tag.
You kept on rolling, didn't you?
I mean, she resigned.
Here you go.
All right, Mr. Willie, we'll do the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And Mr. Huey Beverly will lead us in the invocation.
Our Heavenly Father, as we meet today to guide us and help us to make the right decisions for our senior citizens of our state, protect each of us when we leave here to go and travel home. Amen.
Amen. And roll call.
Carol Ritchie,
Here.
Rico Thomas,
Here.
Monica Davis,
Here.
Orlando Williams, Ethel Tabor, June Williams, Willie Lewis,
Present.
Terry Corvo,
Here?
Blanche Wilkes,
Here.
Huey Beverly,
Here.
Noah Aguilar,
Yeah.
Grace Karen,
Yeah.
Donald Mallett,
Here.
and Ames Mead.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes. If y'all have had a chance to look over them. I think at the last meeting, we did not have a quorum.
I so move we accept the minutes.
Motion, and is there a second?
Second.
Any objection? That motion passes. Next item on the agenda will be Karen.
You saw the letter from Miss Ethel that she resigned from the board.
Yes.
She's a governor appointee from the Metairie, so if y'all know anyone that may be interested from the Metairie area, we have to replace her. June is still in, I talked to her, she's still in Vietnam doing that teaching, and she doesn't want to resign from the board. I am supposed to tell y'all that. I'm carrying the message. And she will be back for the next meeting, she said.
You say she will be back?
She will be back for
Good.
the next meeting.
Okay.
Also,
legislature, they, got the tax, we got all of our money back. We're looking at a $47 million budget.
Yeah.
Ending this year, we'll be sending around $1 million back to the legislature. And 650 of that is salary. And what that is, in fringe. And so that's the director's salary, the fringe, that's EPS turnover. We have a lot of turnover in the Elder Protective Service, department, because that's a very stressful job. And it doesn't pay that much, and so we do have a lot of turnover. Plus, we have 4 openings that they haven't given us permission to fill because there's a job freeze on. And so that's what we'll be returning, is $650 in salaries and around $300,000 interagency transfers, and that's just an we was gonna repair our computer system, and it did not get done this year, so we'll just carry forward and go back into our budget on that. And let's see what else. The other thing is that one of the things, and I think the council will talk to you about it also, is when we go out in the field, they're very interested about promises that were made about making the department a state Department of Aging. And so that seems to be a big thing out there now, to push. When we was going out there trying to get them to work with the governor to get our money put back in, and that was one of the things they talked about. And what that does is, when you're a state department, it gives you a place at the table when they're talking about money, when they're dispersing the money. Right now, we have not had an increase. The Council on Aging has not had an increase in their formula since the 80s. And they're not even funding them at the 2018 census level. They're funding them at the 2010 at 80%. So they're way behind. And so this year, seniors 60 plus will increase to 1 million. We'll have a little over 1,022,000 seniors in this state, which is 25% of the population. And that's a large voting block. That's it. Any questions?
Yes, on Ms. Tabor, have we notified the governor's office? You said she was the governor's appointee?
She's a Senate appointee.
Senate?
She's Mr. Olario, appointee, and he's supposed to be, yes, we have let him know.
Okay.
She sent a letter in, and they're supposed to be looking at someone, in the Metairie area.
Okay.
She recommended somebody, but she was 90, so Ms. Talbot couldn't come at 90 something. I think that this one would be a problem too. They're looking at.
I'm not gonna be here at 90 either.
Karen, I have a question regarding.
Yes, sir.
The councils in terms of 80%.
Yeah.
Since 2010.
Okay,
Something this body could do to.
What that means is this, is like, when we put our budget in, we'll turn in the increase every time. But when it gets to the OPB, the budget office, they remove it, okay? They don't keep our increase in there. And anyone that's been in the legislature is familiar with that. But what is the problem is, we're not even being funded at the 2018 census level. We're being funded at the 2010 census level. And that's around a 20% difference in seniors. And so, and the ones that are really suffering is your parish, East Baton Rouge. Even though, people say, well, they got a millage. Well, you don't usurp the money they already have and take away, or they'll be right back in the boat they were in before they got the millage. So, so it's parishes that are huge parishes that are not getting the money because of the census, but who it really hurts the worst is these really rural parishes that have nothing else in that parish to help, they have nothing else. They don't have the transportation, like we have CATS, we have this. You can get all these big businesses to help donate for, they don't have those in that parish. When you're looking at an Allen parish that has 980 square miles, they have one senior center, they have to go across that whole whole parish, and their whole budget is $135,000 federal money and state money. You have a problem.
If we recognize those councils or senior centers that don't have millages, maybe we could try to get that pushed through, since they don't have any other support. And
well, we can look at, right now we have 26 parishes that have a millage. Okay. 26 of them. And we have some, and here's another problem. When you wanna get on the ballot, it costs money.
Right.
Okay? Most of these rural parishes do not have that $60,000 to get on a ballot. And most of the parish governments will not waiver it. I mean, it's very rare that they'll waiver that fund, because they don't have the money either. And so what needs to be done is they need an increase, because we serve over 125,000 seniors. I mean, it's going down because we don't have the funds.
Right.
But when someone calls, and this is a legislature, anyone, when they call, who they call about a senior is they're gonna call here, they're gonna call a council on aging, and they want you to go out there, they want you to take care of it. And it's very hard to take care of this because they're aware of who you are. They know who a council on aging is in that parish. So they want you to take care of it, but they do not fund it at the capacity they need to be funded at to serve these seniors.
Excuse me, who do we see to get that moved up? Our legislators, our representatives, who? You know, because I'm from Richland Parish. Francis Thompson knows the state of what goes on in Richland Parish. We are very rural. We have 2 council on aging, and we just can't take care of everybody.
That's right.
And I am in that council on aging in Delhi at least once a week. And y'all, there are some really needy people that are there, and I know there are more because I have people stop me in the grocery store. And you know, what can you do?
And here's the other thing that is so sad. You know, when I first started here, every home delivered meal was a hot meal. And so what they did is when you delivered a hot meal every day, you got to see that person. So if someone has fallen, someone is happening, someone is going through a dementia crisis, and you notice it right off because you see them other day, their memory's not there, something's not right, you can help service them. Now we're having to go to a frozen meal because we're not getting the funding. We don't have the money to pay the gas to deliver every day, so we have to deliver every 2 weeks or every week. So you're not seeing that elderly person like you should see her. And so what happens is it's very cost effective, prohibitive. What happens is the person goes down, most of them are very poor in the rural area, they qualify for Medicaid, they're going to go into nursing homes. A nursing home is close to $45,000 a year, $48,000 a year, some of them up to $50-something a year, where that we can serve a senior in their home for around $12,000, and that's giving them 5 of our services. And so cost effectively, we are it. We are the ones that can help these seniors, but a lot of people, we don't sell our service like we should sell our service. And the reason we're not a department, we don't get to sit at that table, and so we don't make a loud enough yell for people to really take us serious of what we need.
Because we're 25% of the voting bloc.
That's right.
They need to be heard.
How do we get to be a department? That's my question. I don't know.
Okay, right now, the Constitution says it can only be 21 departments. That's in the Constitution. So the only way it can happen is to have a Constitution convention and create a new department, have 22 instead of 21, or they have to combine one. Whether they combine DEQ and DNR, because they have gotten down so small, they could be combined. You know, one time they talked about us being with veterans. Well, that's not right either, because
No.
what's gonna happen is if you go to veterans, we're both gonna lose. Okay, that's what will happen. And even though we serve a large percentage of the veterans, and we have the veterans programs up in Shreveport where they can come to us to be their caregiver and stuff, I think that if they put us with veterans, you're gonna lose. That's my opinion, and I think the veterans would lose also.
At one time, wasn't there some consideration, and I don't know if it has happened or not, to relocating us under the direct supervision of the governor's office?
We've always been under direct supervision of the governor's office since, we've been like that since the late 70s when we used to be under DHH, and they moved us out of DHH and moved us under the governor's office because of the Council on Aging and that's when the LEBA board got started also.
I would think that would be where we would wanna start. You know, we can talk to Francis and I can talk to my representative and everything, but we only, 14 of us, and I don't know how many senators and representatives that would be. that we'll be talking with. But if we could, I think, lobby the governor's office.
That's who it's gonna have to be.
I think that's where.
That's it.
That's
Yeah.
where we need to go.
And I don't think he's against it, I just don't think he knows, we're gonna have to give him some ideals. I don't know, And I do know they wanna have a constitutional convention, that's a big push right now to have that. And so, the only thing we have to worry about is when they do have that, they create an agenda. We have to be on that agenda, or they can't even discuss creating a new department when they do a constitutional convention.
Well, can we, as a board, send the governor's office a recommendation that we
Yes, you
get
can do
bumped up?
you can do a resolution, and, we can send a resolution on behalf of the, LEBA board that, you'd like to know, where that stands.
I would think that would be a good starting point, I just know, our parish, we have to go and beg the police jury to help us out, and in Richland Parish, we have a new director, she is fabulous, but it's just now in the last 6 months gotten to where they will even listen. I know these people personally, and I talk to them, but it's like it stops there, when I start bringing up.
Well, they don't have money, let's be honest here.
Yeah,
They've been
they're-
cut also.
Yeah, but we've just got, I feel like we have an obligation.
Well, before this meeting, I was going back and I was looking at the budgets, and I went back, and I went back all the way to the early 90s, 94, 93. Our budget is the same. Okay, we are now, I was looking at 584,000 seniors, I'm looking at over 1 million now. My budget is the same. The cost, gas was $1.35 back then, it is now $2.50, $2.60. So everything has went up, but because I think elderly are so, they don't wanna rock the boat, they don't wanna complain too much, they don't wanna, you might take that, if they say too much, you might take that one thing they're getting away from them, okay, that they need so desperately. So they're not maybe as outspoken as some of the other advocacy groups out there. But the need is very great. If you just walk around and go to a community center, go to your councils on aging, you will see what the need is.
So in the resolution, we should have those statistics.
Absolutely.
The cost efficiency for you serving them as opposed to them being in a nursing home, and the population increase since that
Right.
last budget increase. Would it be more effective also if the resolution, with the resolution, there were statements from our individual parish legislators?
I think that
In
would be
support
awesome.
of
I
it.
think if they, would put something in supporting this, that would be
I
that would
would,
be great.
I would like to entertain a motion that we, write up a resolution and send to the governor's office.
In addition to the resolution, what are we doing to have a strategic approach to be able to attack the problem? The resolution's gonna do what? Only tell us
It's gonna
what
make the
problem.
governor, aware, but is it gonna give you any more money? No. The only people that can give you money is the legislature. The governor can't even give you the money, okay? Who can give you the money is the legislature. That's it.
So what is our plan for approaching them for the
Well-
additional money?
Well, right now, I can't approach them until they make, they still haven't made, like we talked about last time, and I'm still classified, so I can't go to a legislature, but, the councils are, and they have been going. I can tell you right now, if those councils had been down at every, when they had any meetings, or they had go into sessions, if those councils on aging hadn't been there and they saw their face every day, I don't think we would've got back, or, because when it was coming down to the end, we were still around $2.5 million short. And they went to their legislatures and they said, hey, they're gonna cut us. This cut will go to us, because it's not gonna go to any of these other groups. And so Alario put in, the money must be dispersed to the Office of Elderly Affairs first for any cuts. If that hadn't went in, we would've got that cut. So, the legislature is, I think, at the key, really and truly. If the governor has to sign anything, but the legislature is who, makes the decisions. Really.
So can we have a marketing plan so that if we are going to approach our legislators, we're all using the same stats, using the same points?
Well, we have meetings, we sit down and we go through and we give out, it's the same thing when we had to write letters to them. We wrote certain letters, we put certain statistics in so that we're all speaking the truth. We're all saying the same thing, we're not saying anything different, so when they get when a legislature goes to his next legislature, he says, do you know that they haven't got a raise in the senior center since 1980? They all said that, because we sat down as a group and we made those notes so that the seniors and everybody was dealing with the same statistics.
And realizing there's a motion on the floor.
Yes.
Elderly Protective Service reaches out to my agency at Social Security often, daily. Just emails, telephones, and I'm flooded with those, and I'm the only one that handles those elderly affair cases where the Adult Protective Service part are trying to find seniors who may have been abused, etc. And a part of the resolution should definitely be statistics from that component.
Absolutely.
That
And let me
protect, not only to serve the seniors, but to protect them as well should be a part of.
And let me just tell you, that was one of the great things, that when the governor was running, we wanted EPS back, because Jindal had moved EPS to the office of DHH, and we wanted it back. Well, here's what happened. We got it back, but we got it back without any office space. We sent over office space. We got it back with not enough staff. We got it back with not any travel dollars. We got it back with no office furniture and no money to buy any of this. So we have been just trying to, things that we have here to donate, and we're still missing office space. We don't have office space for a lot of the thing. And our cases have went up 25% since it moved back over here. Because used to they didn't answer those calls. We answer the calls. When they call, we answer, we go out. You probably saw, if you're not from here, but if you saw Channel 2, you saw cases where they went out. These people are in horrible situations. If they used to, DHH didn't go out for that. If they did not have a disability, as an elderly client, they did not go out. We don't look at a disability for abuse. We look, if you're 60 plus and you're being abused, we go out and research that, and we go out and investigate that.
So is any of that work conducive for a work from home process?
Okay, all of them work from home, because we don't have office space right now, except for the Baton Rouge office where we located them here and on the second floor. The other, we have found we found an office in Alexandria through the state office building in Alexandria. In Shreveport, they had a state office building over there. And we had some interagency transfer. You saw where I said I had $300,000 left in interagency transfer. When you're in a state building, you can use those interagency transfer dollars to pay for office space. You can't use it for anything else if it's a private pay. You can only use it for state buildings. There's no state buildings in the Lake Charles area that has any openings. There's one building, there's no openings. So New Orleans, there's none. So we are, if we was able to do that, we would do that. Right now, they're working out of their home, but let me tell you what the problem with that is. It's great working out their home, but it's hard to follow up if you don't have one place that supervisor is located to bring that person in, to go over that work, to find out what is happening, and so they can direct that person and they can come in and print out their reports, they can go over their file cases. Everybody cannot work at home. You have to have a supervisor that can review those cases, get into that system. And so that's what we're trying to get. We're not looking for huge office spaces. Every office space we have found so far is 150, 200 square feet. That is it. So it's not a lot of office space, but when we sent office space over there, we sent travel dollars over there, and you don't get any of that back. What they feel like is, and the councils feel like is, yes, you gave us back EPS. Thank you so much, but you gave it back to us to fail. That's what they feel like, but we're not gonna fail. I can assure you. We're dedicated to this, and we're dedicated, and we thank you for all you do. You do a lot, and we appreciate it. We really do. And so we are dedicated to making sure our seniors are taken care of, whatever it has to be. They go beyond the calling.
But you know, sometimes when you do more with less, you're never gonna get.
Well, I said that before, when I go talk to them, because the point is, we're just burnt out now. We've done more, and at some point, it's over with. We can't do any more in this, but we don't wanna fail either, because when we do things, let me give you an example. We have a lot of people, we don't have a nutritionist, they cut the nutritionist. The federal law says you have to have a nutritionist. We do that on our own on the weekends, because they're not gonna give us the money, but if you don't have that, the feds will cut your money. You can't make them understand, oh, well, y'all can just do it. No, we can't. But here's what's happening, if we let it slide, they're gonna hold your grant money. You know who's gonna hurt? That's exactly right, and we can't let that happen. So that's why everybody gets burnt out, and you see a turnover. You see a constant turnover, and that is the reason. And so, we do need help. We need help, maybe we're not as eloquent in saying that, so we need your help. You're a human resource, you know eloquently how to say what we need. And so, that's what we're here today, is asking for that help.
All right.
Got that motion still on the floor and needs to be seconded.
I second it. I agree, 100%.
Resolution.
And back to Donald's point, I mean, we're all appointed by either the governor's office or legislature. You know, those of us that are appointed by the governor's office, when this goes to the governor's office, we ought to be making a call to the governor's office. And then we can also, can we do a resolution to the legislature, to the House and Senate?
Absolutely.
Why don't we include that and get that to the legislature? Because the governor can present his budget to them with these changes,
He can.
whether they vote for it or not. But then I think we need to do both, you know.
And you need to include, like she said, statistics,
Mhm.
the components that need, resources, et cetera.
And we don't go back into session until, March the 12th of 2019. So we can get all this together for our next meeting, go over it, vote on it, maybe we can have a roundtable discussion, because there's gonna be things you won't change. It's not gonna be perfect how you want it, okay?
Can you draft us something?
And send it out?
And send it to us before
Mhm.
that and everything, so we can look at it and we'll have,
Read it and see.
Absolutely.
put ideas into it.
And this gonna go to the governor plus the legislators.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah.
And anybody else that can help.
Well, I think you're gonna get a lot of help next year, because that's election year.
Yeah.
This is your chance, this is our chance.
Right.
I agree.
This is the right time to put it on the agenda.
All right, there's a motion and a second. Is there any objection? Then that motion passes. Now, let me ask you again, the budget you said was 47 million?
Mhm.
That's standstill,
Mhm.
and we sent $1 million back.
From last year.
From last
We're gonna
year.
send $1 million back, and that's, 650,000 in salaries, and then 300 something in interagency transfers. And that's just, we're just over, let me just tell you what the interagency transfers and everything is. We're over budgeted too in salaries is retirement benefits, because we have 7 people that can retire. So they have to budget, when they budget and give you your money, they have to give you the money for the retirement, for their payout. So that's part of the money the people didn't retire, that are available, that can retire.
Okay.
And
you
the
have-
rules will not allow you to use that money anyplace else.
Right,
Okay.
that's right.
Will you be able to fill those 7 that are retiring?
I hope, or we're gonna trouble. But they're not retiring, they're
Eligible.
eligible
Yeah,
to
eligible.
retire.
Oh,
They're not. And
okay.
see, when you're eligible, they have to put the money in the budget,
Yeah.
because when you go out to pay your 300 hours, to pay, that first everything. So that's what that money is to, some of that money in the salary over benefits and everything. And then the interagency transfer was, we were going to repair a computer system, and I have a problem when some of my repair work, we was gonna order the parts and everything, and it was around $40,000 of that to do that. But then when we started doing it, they said, wait, stop. We now have an IT department, and they will replace it, and we're gonna charge you 40-something thousand every year. Okay.
Centralized.
Huh?
Centralized.
Yes,
Yeah.
now we're gonna charge you 40, where I was just gonna pay 40 and my people here were gonna take care of it, because that's what we always do. Because I have a computer, he can take care of it. They said, no, now we'll take care of it, we're gonna charge you 40. Well, I held off on that because it ain't broke yet, and I think I can make them give it back to me.
I bet you can.
All right, thank you, Karen. Is that all you have?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right, any old business? On to new business, Lakota.
That would be me.
All
I'm
right.
Becky Badger, I'm the president of Lakota. And in your packet, we put in the agenda of our conference that we have next week in Lafayette. We have some good workshops for management and leadership for the directors throughout the state, as well as ethics. Even though we're all ethics certified, we have the Board of Ethics coming to answer questions that some of the council agents might have in addition to what we've already been through. So he will be there as well. Y'all all invited. It is in Lafayette on the Garden Holiday Inn on West Congress, which is right across from Cajun Dome. What's that? The Hilton, I'm sorry. The Hilton Garden Inn, right across from Cajun Dome on West Congress. It's 2350 West Congress. So y'all have that in y'all packet. Also, we'll be discussing, we're trying to get our 501(c) established so we can get sponsorships to continue on the conferences we have, and we are working on our bylaws and articles of incorporation. And we network a lot. As Karen has said, a lot of what I was fixing to say was gonna be what she's already said. You know, after the 7th special session, it was a sign of relief from the COA directors, but then also frustration. Because we just got whatever we got since 1980. Salaries have increased, meal costs has increased, mileage has increased for workers, and we constantly do the same. Well, we do it more for less. And it is time that the COAs finally said, no, we need a plan. We need more money. Several senior centers, it's not several, a lot of senior centers were gonna have to be closed down throughout the state. And so there was a lot of frustration. And the other thing was the department. You know, the governor had really talked strongly when he was campaigning about getting us the department. And we don't have Karen over there like Dr. G's there for LDH and all the department heads. We're like in the back, and so it's up to us. And I will say, Darlene from Ascension Parish, thank heaven she has great representatives. She was there that last day, that last special session, there every day. I had my annual membership meeting, and if it wasn't for the COA directors over there seeing our faces, advocating for our funds, and only begging for our funds just to be at current level, we need to step it up, and we need more funding for these services. And in the reality, we do save money, because these people would be going into nursing homes, a lot of them, not all of them. And so that would cost the state more money on Medicaid and nursing homes as well. We can do it, like she said, for cheaper, to get them to stay in their home. They'll live longer, and that's what they want, to live in their own community. And even though some parishes have millages, those millages are not all the same amounts. So some of those millages are very small. I think Madison has a millage, but his is very small. So everybody's millage is a little different, even though some has millage. I have a sales tax from my health service district that I get. But if it wasn't for the fight of the COAs to do fundraisers and do those millages, where would we be with almost 1 million seniors in this state? And I do thank y'all for what y'all fixing to get into the fight with us, because it is time that something is done. And I think our own department is a step in the right direction, cause then we have stronger leadership, even though Karen's there for us, but it would be stronger leadership. And the extra funding that we are in need of. So I thank y'all for that.
Thank you, Becky. LANA?
Hi, Michelle Orford, Vice President of Atlanta, and we're currently working on our conference, which the dates are different than the last meeting. We confirmed dates of September 26, 27, and 28, which will be at the Doubletree in Lafayette. We're currently working on our own website. We hope to have that complete before the conference so that people can register for the conference online. We're also working on our 501c, and that's where we are for Atlanta. I'd also like to kind of add to what Karen was saying earlier, just to give y'all an example. She talked about delivering hot meals, and that's the only person they see. Our agency delivers only hot meals. We're one of only a few in the state that delivers all hot meals. And we did have one of those situations just last week where our home meal delivery person went to a home that she goes to every day. This individual, this elderly lady, lives alone. And she knocked at the door, and it kind of was open a little bit, and she could hear noise, but the lady was not coming, and she's always in the living room waiting. So she kind of peeped in and hollered, "You okay?" And she went looking for her, and she found this elderly woman on her toilet, slumped over, head down, barely coherent. She had to run outside to the neighbor to get the neighbor to come help her. They called 911. Then she called the office. We started locating her next of kin, contacted her emergency person. They came in, they rushed her to the hospital, and she was in really, really bad shape. Had our person not gone in, who knows how long she would have been there. We don't know how long she was there. Now, since then, unfortunately, because of the state she's in, she's been moved to a nursing home, at least temporarily. But it's just a prime example of what we do. And this was just last week. So we really need y'all involvement. We appreciate what y'all do. And steps towards becoming a department is definitely the way we need to go. So thank y'all.
Any other comments from guests or members?
I have one thing. I don't know. I don't know if everyone was here that did y'all all meet Amanda? She's the new Paul.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think so.
Oh,
Good morning, everyone.
Yes.
Just a pause on behalf of Apostle Lord Benson of Baton Rouge, and you also have a church, Cathedral of Faith in Gonzales. We are attached now to the Mayor President, have opened her door, but the step of the Mayor President on 222 St. Louis. Every year, this is the 18th year, we speak life over the state of Louisiana, praying for our state. Now we pray nations. So on Saturday, the march began by Wesley United, then by Frostop in front of Mayor President Sharon Weston, and also the Sherwood in all departments that have opened this morning. Prayers changes things. And I'm honored to say I am the Mayor Pro Tem of White Castle, but I'm also an intercessor. I pray all the time. So today I ask you all humbly, if you can come or tell someone to meet us at 8 to March and 9 o'clock, praying, especially from the baby in the womb to the one leave this Mother Earth on this side of hell. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
On behalf of Apostle Lord Benson.
Any comments from the members or?
Just a question, do we have a marketing expert on our staff?
No, sir. We don't even have enough staff. We have 24 that runs the whole state, that does. The 24, we do all the auditing for 64 parishes, 139 senior centers. Every one of them have to be audited. Every one of them has to be monitored. you have the payroll, you have, human resource, you have 24. In the 90s, we had 60. So that should tell you what we have. We're just, and that's why we think if we have a department, maybe they'll take, now, why I say that is, let me just tell you. When EPS came here, we have our employees and they didn't have a supervisor, so she filled in, for the supervisor, so I was trying to get her reallocated like the supervisor stayed at DHH with 20-something employees. She came, we have 40-something. They will not upgrade her to supervisor because you don't have a budget large enough. You're not a department. Okay? So this person, even though they're doing more work than the people at DHH, they say you don't have $1 million. You don't have they have a $12 billion budget. They have a $12 billion budget, but they're not doing what we're doing because they have so many staff that we do not have. And so that is the things that we go against when we go to civil service, is trying to get these people upgraded to the position they should be in. And so when you have an accountant that's a CPA that's traveling the state and their starting pay is $24,000, ask me how long I'm gonna have them. Not long. That's exactly right. So they can go to DHH and make $50,000 and they go. And that's what we have here. Because they say, well, your agency is so small. But they don't understand that when you have a human resource department that's helping the Council on Aging or something, they have over 1,500 employees through the 64 parishes. They don't look at it like that, okay? They look at it just, you have 24 employees, that's it. So you're way down here.
Trust me, I know.
Yeah. And then they're very dedicated, I want to say, but after a while, when you are the only breadwinner in your home, you have to move on. And so we're constantly training these people and their turnover is constant. Yes, sir.
Yes, I'd like to ask about that lady in Baton Rouge, the Title III director that's running a program in Baton Rouge.
You talking about Tasha at the East Baton Rouge Council on Aging?
Yes.
Okay.
And the FBI took the program, looked into it, when she was taking money out to senior citizens.
No, she wasn't taking, okay, let's look, okay. Let me just tell you, I audited her for my Title III money. She has not misused any of my money. The problem where she got in trouble with is how certain things on her city money was spent, okay? It was never any theft or anything, okay? And so, it was misuse, okay, and bad decisions was made. But it wasn't any theft or anything like that. It was just the decisions that was made maybe was not the right decision at that time. The FBI, not that I know of, or look, they haven't, nothing has came out from the FBI, nothing has came out from the Inspector General, because if something had came out, she'd be charged right now, and she has not been charged.
Thank you.
When was the last time we tried to become a department? Or have we tried before, or? Okay. When was that?
Okay, this all started, the department is when the governor was running. That was one of the things that then, when they went and spoke to the governor, that they wanted to be a department. It started, I think Ron Valero started bringing it up back in first part of 2000.
2000.
But you have to understand, unless they combine something.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen.
Unless they combine something, or they have a constitutional convention to create another department, it's not going to happen.
Let me ask. Okay, so should we not prepare either way? If we were going to combine something, what agencies would be best for us to combine with?
Well, it's not us that wants to combine. We want them to combine DNR and DEQ, because they used to be together and was split. It used to be, yeah. And so we want them, now they've gotten down so low, the DEQ's employees are way low now. And so, and DNR they pull stuff out of DNR, send it to Wildlife and Fisheries. So those two can go together. They can become one.
And we can stand alone.
And we can stand alone. And the reason you wanna stand alone is you want a department because this is one thing that's going to happen. People are going to age. You're either gonna die, you're gonna age, but that is a constant. And so, you need to prepare for that because it's only growing larger and larger and larger. And the other thing is, even with these elderly that you never saw before, is taking care of grandkids. So you're not only dealing with, and disabled. We handle disabilities with children and stuff with drugs. We have a program here. We don't just serve 60 plus. We help anyone that needs help with drugs if they have a problem.
So what you're saying is that there are derivative impacts that are associated with what we're doing. But I understand the problem better now. It's difficult when you're trying to project some other organizations consolidate because, you know, legislators, my experience has been, hey, they want you to deal only with what your issues are.
Exactly, and you can't move into your issues unless something comes together. You know, we had some of the council said, oh, we'll go with veterans because they just grabbing at straws. And they think, oh, well, we serve so many veterans, it'd be okay if we go to veterans. But you gotta look at the whole picture. And veterans is so important in what they do in their military and everything. And I wanna say this too, when veterans became a department and the guy from Homa that made it a department, we were supposed to get that spot. That was promised to us. When they made elections and took them out and you no longer had that department, it was told to Ron and the old director that would become the state unit on aging, okay? And then the next thing we know, they made it the Department of Veterans Affairs. So there's some, this goes back a while, so.
So why did DEQ and DNR separate?
Well, it used to be Wildlife and Fisheries, DEQ and DNR was together. They got too large.
Okay.
It's the same way when social services and DHH used to be together, and they separated them. And you used to have departments that was just open that wasn't filled, but now everything is filled. And the social services has removed all programs that are social. That's why they changed their name to family, and because they moved all the social programs over to DHH.
So instead of our argument to consolidate other departments, we need to be vying for a department.
Right, that's probably the best thing is say, you decide, we don't know, you're the experts, but this is what needs to happen.
Because the legislatures may have some
affinity
to those departments. And then if we could just shoot straight for our own department through the
Constitutional Convention.
Yes, that should be our probably primary.
And see, it's it could have also happened through the legislature when they voted, but what happened is, when Jindal told us, okay, you're gonna be we were told we were number one, go out there and tell everybody, so we go out there and we say, you gotta vote number one, the amendment when it comes up on the ballot. Right before they moved the nursing home that they held off and didn't vote for the year before, they held off on it. They voted for it in that year, made it 1, made us 11. 1 passed, they passed it just went, and all that was is that you can never cut the nursing home. Do you think people would have voted for that if they knew?
And it didn't say add a department for elderly, it said it add a department.
Yeah.
You know, and that made a difference too, cause I think.
Yeah, they did whatever.
It wasn't worded right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
It was set up for a failure.
Should that be part of our resolution? I think rather than fighting DNR and DEQ, we probably make more enemies than we would friends.
I think he's right. I think we just need to put it in their hands and say, the department, we need a department, and we put it in your able hands to make this happen. Whatever they gotta do. We know what they gotta do, but let them decide what they have to do.
And I would highlight, in the resolution, things that are life-threatening, such as your
the meals, if they're not fed, right? Malnutrition. I would highlight the abuse. Things that
Right.
sustain life would be the highlight, should be the highlight of the resolution, so they can know the urgency of it all versus just general statistics. Because if a legislator look at the bullets of we're losing so many seniors because they're not being fed, we're losing seniors to abuse that we don't have the manpower to investigate, those should be the highlights of the resolution, and then everything else should follow. I know when I
Yeah, I mean, I can give you the national average. The national average is not to carry 150 cases of
Right.
abuse, okay? I can assure you, it's 35,
Right, there you go.
okay?
So those things, as I'm looking at a document, that's what's kind of glaring at me, like, bam, versus we need this money for this and da-da-da-da-da, but the resolution should really highlight those needy things that pull at heartstrings and compel them.
And here's the other thing we're having to deal with too, there, at the councils on aging, is the opioid, you know, the seniors. It is such rampant that they see now in those homes and trying to get help for that also. So, I mean, they're the boots on the ground, they see everything. You can call a council on aging, you're gonna know what's going on in that community. You can call a DHH, you're not gonna know what's going on in that community. They don't even know who those people are. They know who those people are. They see them every day. They go, they worry about them. They're very dedicated, and that's what people don't understand. We're not just they're not just a council on aging. I mean, they are the community, and I guess that's what I want to try to put forward is there's not just a bureaucratic agency. They are a lifeline for these seniors.
Good job.
Very good.
Good job.
All right, I need to ask one more question. Is there some way we could get some of this information on one sheet? So when I go see Francis, I'll have a cheat sheet.
You tell me what you want, I can give you. I'm an expert on statistics.
She's good on cheat sheets.
I mean,
You tell me what you want and I will give it.
want, like, this is a lifeline, this is what we're gonna do, this, you know, this is why it's important. I need that just so I can, one for me, one for him, one for me, one for Bubba, Cheney. Anybody that will listen to me, I will go see. And plus, I have spoken with Ralph Abraham about, and he's in that area.
He's in the, he's in the feds, okay, and the
Yeah.
feds that money hadn't changed either.
Yeah.
So that
yeah,
needs to be increased
yeah, and he is very.
It ain't gonna happen, that's right.
Very
Not.
good about promoting the Council on Aging, you know, and you know, I think that we're the ones, y'all.
Well, we're
we're
an aging population. Our state is
Exactly.
an aging population. What people don't understand is when you have a 90-year-old that you're serving, you're also serving their daughter, which is 70, okay?
Exactly.
And so, and there may not be any other family, or if it is a family, they're on drugs, they're stealing from mama, you need
We
to
run
go out
into
and
a lot.
see the situation that we have to see every day. He sees it because he knows when they try to take their social security, when they're trying to become, I mean, we've had people, no one else, this is your small office, we had a person come here who's gonna blow our office up, he was upset, okay, because he had to drive all the way out of state because we took his mother's social security check and put her in a nursing home and he was getting her check. Now, she didn't have anything to live on, but he was having the check sent to him. And, I mean, we deal this every day, we have to go into no one else does this, there is no one else that fills that gap beside this agency, that's what no one understands. And maybe, I'm very passionate about it, so maybe when I get started, I'm not the best speaker for it because I just.
No, I think passion counts. I think we're all gonna have
It's in your DNA?
promote that.
Huh?
It's in your DNA?
Yeah. But I would love a cheat sheet.
Or send it to all of us.
Yeah, that would be good
No, I can do that,
for all of us.
So many people don't recognize the need and how important it is until they need it, or a
Right.
family member needs it.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
that's when they become believers and they'll say, I didn't know.
That's right.
I didn't know. This is available no matter how hard you try. So we've got to get together and do it.
Exactly.
They don't realize, when you say a council on aging, if you go out to most of these legislatures, and you say a council, oh, they just get a meal, they go play bingo. These
Yeah.
people, they drive Cadillacs, they come up to that senior center, they don't need anything. I mean, that's all they do is play a few games. We deliver 43 services. You're only looking at one aspect of it. You're looking at that site where they're staying healthy. Beside that, you got 53% that are at home getting those in-home services, telephoning, respite, personal care, where they can't take a shower, they can't take a bath. We're giving them home delivered meals. There is so many services in personal care, chore, where they can no longer, just cut the grass around their house so that snakes don't eat them up as they walk across. There's a whole lot of snakes.
And most seniors have to make a decision between medication
Absolutely.
and some other life. And food.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we pay on utility bills, you know?
Oh, yeah, and the utility bills.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we have an agreement, we work with the food bank, we get boxes of, certain times to work to hand out to the seniors, and this is all they have, this is all they get, and I mean, let me assure you, if they're on Medicaid and they're getting all that, they get a lot more services, and these seniors that are stuck in this middle part.
Exactly.
They're stuck in the middle, they're $5 over Medicaid, they can't get Medicaid because of $5, or they can't get this service. If they did not have us, where we go get their drugs, I mean, we're dealing right now with 2 or 3 cancer patients, that if they did not have us to pull down those free drugs, they'd probably be dead right now.
Cheat sheet.
Yes, ma'am.
Cheat sheet.
Thank you.
Cheat sheet.
Karen, who is the name of the person that took Johnny Anderson's
His
place?
name is Adrian, like children, Adrian, Wilson.
Wilson, yeah.
When you gonna invite him over to meet us? I don't know.
Oh, you don't know him? He's speaking at,
He's
Lakota.
speaking at our conference next week, so.
What's
And
his
if
name?
y'all do wanna come, just shoot, Michelle a email.
What's his
and I
name
can
again?
add meals to-
Adrian
to the-
Adrian Wilson. Adrian Wilson, if you remember, I don't know, he used to be, he was here before, he was assistant secretary under Kathleen Blanco at Children's Services.
All right.
Well, I'm proud to say that I ran a Title III program.
Yeah, and we
In
got,
1973 when it first came out. 10 and a half years.
and they're still giving us about the same money they gave when he started it.
But if there's any of us that knows Adrian, we might touch Adrian also.
Give him that cheat sheet.
You want this?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, we
yeah,
gave
you
him
do.
the cheat sheet.
I'll get it turned in by you.
Uh-huh.
Is there any other business?
Okay, we can do what she brought this up. I can also have Adrian put on the agenda for the next meeting if y'all would like to, meet him.
I would.
I
Yeah.
would love that.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm the only one that don't know him, everybody else may know.
No,
him.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Let's do.
You know everybody.
No, I got nothing.
Now, he doesn't have the, he hadn't worked with aging, like Johnny had worked with the Council on Aging stuff, so he doesn't have his, but he's open to any suggestions that I give him, he is that.
Good. Yeah, let's meet him
Let's
here.
invite him over for coffee.
Invite him over for coffee.
If there's nothing else, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Any objection?
No.
Motion passes.
Fill the
Thank-
paperwork out.
Thank y'all. A very good meeting.
Next meeting.
Very good
Next
meeting.
meeting.
Next meeting date, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Tell us when.
Send me a text, get us next meeting.
Well, you know, I'm gonna say this, but I don't know how it's gonna work. You know, they're having the Atlanta conference in September in Lafayette. If you wanna have your meeting in Lafayette,
Please.
Please. There wasn't anybody show up in Lake Charles.
I
I don't
know.
know what to do.
I'm just, saying,
I think
I'm throwing it out there.
The information didn't get around for Lake Charles.
Set it up.
I don't
Cause
know.
I was mad cause I missed it.
So y'all can decide on that. It's closer to a lot of people, so. yes.
Where it was located, where?
Lafayette.
Yeah.
The double tree?
Double tree in Lafayette, so you might wanna decide on that.
What date is it?
Take me and drive.
How many folks would like to go to Lafayette? Does everybody wanna go to Lafayette?
Yeah, let's do it.
I can't do it.
Why
You
you
can't do it? It's
That's
further
close
away,
up to
it's
you.
further away than Baton Rouge, isn't it?
Is it?
No, you can go across
What's-
to,
what's the difference?
167 and come down. You can go down 20, isn't that 67, 167?
Where is
Yeah,
it?
go
Come
straight
through
down.
Alexander, right?
I know how to get there.
That- You've got MapQuest, you can get there,
I can
but
get
you.
there.
And I'll let you ride with her.
Oh, Lord. And we sure don't wanna ride with Mike Rome, he's gonna leave 5 minutes before the allotted time for us to get there.
I got the date.
You got it, okay.
Well, it's just, here's the thing, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, it's closer to
For the majority.
the majority. And here's the thing, you can try it
the
one more
next week.
time, nobody shows up, well. But we can always say, we tried,
Good ride.
huh?
It's a good ride for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all decide.
I'll come anywhere.
Well, do we need to vote on it to see if we would really wanna go? Who wants to go to Lafayette? Who's counting? 1, 2, 3,
1, 2,
5.
3,
That's next week, huh?
That's, no, September.
Oh,
That's
September.
4, you don't have enough.
We don't have enough.
Okay, we'll stay.
I'll go in September.
Oh, in September, now you have enough now.
Stan will go, Stan will go.
Oh, the quorum, you have enough now?
Yeah.
You need
Yeah, I don't mind going.
No.
All right, what is the
Yeah.
date? Tell me the date of the meeting.
September 26th, 27th, 28th.
And you can decide which one of those days.
All right.
The
send it to me.
27th is our big day, with more, we have the CEO units and all that, it's a full day of seminar, so if you wanna attend that, the 26th would probably be, if you're only going one day.
You can
the
attend,
best
spend the
day.
night, and have a meeting the next day when there's not much going on, if you wanna do it like that.
What day is the 26th?
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
So the 26th is on the
If,
Wednesday.
if you wanna spend the night, you need to let us know, because now we have to do your overnight travel through the portal.
But we can make the arrangements for your hotel, but we need to know ahead of time.
How far ahead of time?
Well, they probably will book up pretty quick.
What's your close date for your
What's your
conference?
close date?
For book?
Jasmine's okay with me, I gotta get on.
Really haven't had any They haven't sent me that.
So I'd say by September 1st.
Yeah, by the first of
I'll let
September.
you know as soon as, usually we have it first, usually it's about 2 or 3 weeks before.
So that would be September 1st,
Yeah.
so that would be an easy day
That
to
would be
remember.
close to what.
That would be an easy day.
Yeah.
September the 1st, she says close date.
If,
To make
So, to make
reservations.
so what date are we gonna meet on?
20, you said the 26th?
That's a Wednesday, I think.
The 26th is
Yeah.
Is that the day the person we want to
You're not
be
gonna
there
make
to be there?
That's a different conference.
Or two different?
We can have a birthday party for you.
we could. When's your birthday, Mr. Almore?
The 27th.
The 27th.
You're 60?
50.
55.
You're AARP qualified?
I wish I was.
So we're gonna meet on the 26th.
Age is just a number, correct?
At what time?
Is that a good day? Meet on the 26th?
That's
Or
the
the
Wednesday.
27th?
The
That's-
27th is a really full day, 26th I think would probably
Okay,
be a
26th.
better day.
And then they can
26th.
Available space. And then
We,
you can stay
we can
on
do
the
that
Wednesday over,
in the
attend
afternoon,
some of the workshops.
have an
Is that what I'm saying?
afternoon meeting, spend the night, and then come, you'll have whatever conferences or whatever we can
It's the full day.
get to.
networking and all that.
Let's do that.
Got
So
it.
the meeting's on the 26th.
6th.
in the afternoon.
At 3?
3 or 4?
3 or 4? Come on.
3.
3?
3, okay.
3? And Michelle will bug you before to remind you.
Good, good.
I appreciate Michelle.
Yes.
We said Colorado.
It's gonna be at least a month before, that's gonna need to be like locked down, like to have the room, so.
September 1st.
Sounds good.
Thank y'all.
All right. Thank y'all.
Thank
We
y'all.
can take these with us.
A good meeting.
Just leave your bag.
Very good meeting.
Wait, did you leave your travel?
Yes, somebody picked it up.
Here's a travel right here.
We had them all stuck around, so.
Here's one more.
Okay, but,
You have travel?
Take care of Willie, he's here.
Travel?
I'm here.
Huh?
You got me travel. I
Okay.
took you to the boat.
Okay, well, can't be.
Do you need that?
You need to,
I need to sign all of those?
yeah.
Yes,
I don't
I
need
thought
this.
so. Do you have a stamp made for me? Why, just-
No, but I could probably say no.
No.